This is Next Radio.
With Broadcast Bionics, innovative solutions for creative people.
Thank you very much, James. I'm Michael Hill. I run Radioplayer, which is a partnership between the BBC and commercial radio. Our job is to help grow listening on connected devices. Now, that sounds very dull. Actually, what my job is to help great people collaborate to build fantastic products which millions of people use on a daily basis to listen to their favourite radio. So that is what gets me out of bed every morning. And we've been working really hard for the last couple of months on a couple of things. I didn't think I was going to be able to get them far enough today to be able to show you, but I have, and they're still in testing, but this is the first exclusive unveiling of two projects we've been working hard on, Radioplayer on tablets and the new upgraded Radioplayer on desktop. So, tablets first. Now, these are all about discovery, these tablet apps. They're about getting people to more of the radio they'd love. I don't care how they then listen, whether they stay in Radioplayer or whether they download your station apps or whether they listen on DAB or FM or a damp piece of string. It doesn't matter to me one jot. I want them to discover more great UK radio. Now, I was playing with the iPad version last weekend. Just see if I can get a visual up. Okay, I'll just go back on that. Right, I'll start that in a minute. I was playing with the iPad version last weekend, and I just stuck a camera on it, so it's not a high-tech demo. But luckily, it doesn't rely on the conference Wi-Fi. I decided not to do a live demo. There is an equally smart Android version coming out soon, James, so don't complain. They will both launch at the same time. So let me just run through how it looked last weekend when I was giving it a play. So it's like a sort of vast all-you-can-eat buffet of radio. Scrollable columns of content, arranged in columns, and you can just flick it around like that. Station list, A to Z, recommended, trending, location, and catch-up, which you can flick between category view and latest view. Really easy to set your favorites. You just click the heart symbol, and you've got Radio 2, XFM. And it's one tap to play. Straight into Radio 1. Now, this is what we call the station view. As the audio starts, you can pull in as a radio station whatever you like into this space. This is what the default web view looks like, but others have done other stuff. That More button there shows you catch up, back in time, schedule, forward in time. Very EPG-like. Those columns you saw at the start, you can now flick. They're docked down the right-hand side, so you can flick them. Recommended has a Facebook sign-in. Do that, and we take the artists you've liked from Facebook, and we use them to recommend radio for you. One click, and you're straight in. Capital. Now, they do something different with their web view, and I'll show you another one from Absolute in a minute. Down the bottom, consistency on the play bar. Tapping the heart icon, favorite something, sharing, all done by the play bar, so it's always there. Going back to the column view on the back arrow, I'll just show you a really cool new feature. You can save programs as well as stations. Can't read that, so I'll show you it again. If we switch back to categories view, find the Archers. This is the antidote to the Archers Avoider. You can save that series, and it will series link it just as it does on your telly. I'll show you where that's ended up. In the favorites column, you can see the stations I've saved, or just add another one to show you what happens from another column. Bing, in it goes at the top, shows you what's on right now. Switch to the shows, the Archers is there as a series at the top, always shows the latest one first, but I can go back 2 days with one tap. Off it goes. If the audio was working, you'd be able to hear it playing. Now, I just want to show you one last thing. We've supercharged search in Radioplayer. So as you type, you get suggestions, just as you do in Google. You can dive straight into any of those suggestions, or you can do a full search. If you do a full search, it comes up as live and catch up. I typed rock. When I was doing it, rock and roll, football was on Absolute, so we'll go straight into there. There you go. That's the Absolute station screen. They're very clever at this stuff. They've got logged in listening, they've got artist pictures at the top, they've also got a channel strip down here so that you can flick between their stations and actually control the app from within their web view. So that's a little glance at the tablet app on iOS. Very, very dynamic. I don't know if you spotted it, probably not, as it's not a particularly bright picture, but lots of song info changing all the time, lots of recommendations changing all the time in response to trending. The app learns what you like as you listen, so all the recommendations change as that happens as well. Makes it very simple to use, very enjoyable to use, but bloody difficult to build. So many, many thanks to Chris and the team at All In Media, who've stuck with us over the past few months and our kind of over-ambitious plans, and we are finally just about ready to launch. So on to our second exclusive unveiling here, the new desktop radio player. Now this does a slightly different thing. Yes, it's about discovery still, but it's also about giving each station in Radio Player a best-in-class pop-up player that plays on as many devices as possible, that's really easy for you to skin and really easy for you to monetize. I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, again, I did a kind of pretty simple screen capture. See if I can bring it up. This is the desktop of my PC, and what we did was we skinned a special Next Radio console for the occasion. Now, as you'll see, the bottom section is what we call the plug-in space. I haven't put anything in there, but it's what you guys use to customize your players. Up the top, you'll see the same controls as in the tablet app. Favoriting, play and stop, and volume. We've made them flatter, cleaner, more modern, and we've taken away the playing button, which you used to have to tap to see what's on, and we've put it into a new ticker. We've also supercharged search here, up in the top bar, typing rock, live suggestions appearing as you type. You can either then jump into any of those suggested stations, suggested catch-up, or show all results. And for the first time, you can now filter the search results between live and catch-up. Now, back up to the top level, you saw that menu button top left. That's the magic thing that hides a lot of new stuff. Here we go. We're into a whole new layer now. And down the bottom, the play bar has docked, so the user can still see what they're listening to, favorite, play stop, and volume. Always got control over the audio. We're in an A to Z list, 360 stations, quite a lot to ask, but easy to navigate and easy to favorite, because you can either jump across that alphabet strip at the top, or you can slide on the scroller at the side. So we'll just set a few favorites, and then I'll show you where they've ended up. Get a BBC, couple of BBCs for balance. Right, so over to the left now, my stations. That's where they've all ended up. Again, scrollable, and you can click the down arrow to get more info on anything, just as you can in the tablet app. Recent is your history. Recommended uses the same recommendation algorithm as we do in tablets and mobile. Now, I'll just show you one more thing. I'm going to flick to another test console now. And this is showing you one of the commercialization things I talked about earlier. If you want to make money out of your radio players, currently stations are kind of hacking things in there to try stuff out. So we've taken the most common 6 hacks and we've built them into the core code. So it's much easier for you to do, for example, video pre-roll over the plugin space, which that is an example of, and a bunch of other stuff too, straight out the box if you want to. There's one more thing that I need to show you, and that is with the rise of iPad listening and browsing, we have now made it possible to play on a non-flash device. So I'll just see it, conference Wi-Fi permitting, if I press play, hold that up to my mic.
He has not yet been formally identified.
So that is the same console as you just saw, playing on Safari on an iPad in HTML. So, again, like the tablet app, this ends up being very easy to use, but bloody complicated to code. So many, many thanks to this time Gav and the team at G Media who built this thing. It's the most complicated web app I've ever seen. But it's nearly ready to launch, and huge credit to them for getting it there. And also to Adrian and his team at Unique, who build all the back-end systems and the search engine that power all that brilliant dynamic data. Right, I think my time's up. I've got one more thank you, though, and that is to you, the UK radio industry, for continuing to support Radio Player and what we're trying to do. We're a non-profit. We're not making money out of it. We're only here to try to get people listening to your stations. And we couldn't do it if you didn't believe in it as well. So thank you very much. Tablet apps, in a couple of, well, actually, within the next week, they'll be submitted to the store. They'll be available to the public shortly after that. The desktop players will go to all your stations in the next couple of weeks as well. And we'll then give you a couple of months to skin and upgrade to that V3 console. Thanks very much.
I'm really excited about that. I think it's a real innovation, and the thing I took away the most from that was that this is taking radio to a digital platform that's accessible to everyone. It's free for people to access the internet and download the app. I think it's an awesome idea.
BFBS actually isn't on it, and it's going to make me go back and say, why are we on Radioplayer? Because it looks such an effective way of catering for people's tastes, what shows they like.
What I've enjoyed the most today has been being able to meet people and being here in this amazing place with all these radio professionals.
This is Next Radio.
With Broadcast Bionics, innovative solutions for creative people.